Michael Bassett. Lee Ruff is evaluating his speech. Lee, could you read his objectives?
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Today, Michael has 4 objectives. His first objective is to select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purposes. Second is to organize the speech in a manner which best achieves these purposes. The third is to ensure that the beginning, the body, and the conclusion reinforce those purposes. And his fourth is to project sincerity and conviction and control any nervousnesses that you may feel. And he also has a fifth objective, which is strive not to use notes.
Okay, today,
And his time is 5 to 7 minutes, Mr. Timer.
and Michael will be doing project number 3, Get to the Point, from the basic manual. A spark started with a whack on the side of the head, and the smoldering burst into flame with a parent-teacher conference. There are many alternatives in our lives, but for many of those, we don't take the time to seek them out. Slow speed, lots of mistakes, and sore wrists has prompted Michael to look at an alternative to typing on the QWERTY, also known as QWERTY, keyboard. Let's give a warm Toastmaster welcome to Michael Bassett, the Dvorac alternative to the QWERTY.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, yes. As he said, it started with a whack on the side of the head. Not with the key bed, although it was sometimes tempting. But about 20 years ago, I used to listen to a lot of books on tape. And one of the books that I was listening to was by Roger Von Eck, and it was a book on creativity called A Whack on the Side of the Head. And in this book, he brought up a point that has always stuck in my head, that smoldering spark. That the QWERTY keyboard was developed for typists because the type bars would always become jammed. And you'd have to stop, untangle them, type a little bit more, stop, untangle them. So they developed this QWERTY keyboard to put certain keystrokes far apart and to put commonly used letters on relatively weak fingers, thus slowing down the typist, having less jams. It worked for them. Fast forward to about a week and a half ago, I was in a parent-teacher conference for our 4th grader, and the teacher notified us that the best thing we can do for him is to teach him to type, because next year he has to take a test where he is required to type all the information in on the keyboard. My wife and I kind of looked at each other and what is this? Both of us managed to make it through elementary school, high school, and college without learning how to type. And now our 5th grader has to take a test where he is required to type. So that kind of got that spark going again. And thought, do I want my kid to have sore wrists and make all the mistakes that I make when I try to do all the hunt and peck and pushing? I thought, no, I don't want him to do that. I want to take a look at something else. This is a show of hands. How many people in here type the same way I do? 2-fingered, staring at the keyboard, and having all kinds of trouble. How many people have that issue? Good. This speech is for you. In the 1930s, Dr. August Dvorac got together with his brother-in-law, Dr. Dealey, and they said, let's come up with a different system, a different layout of the keyboard for typing, because now they didn't have to worry about those keystrokes. It's all electronic. Now you've got the balls and things going in there. So what they decided to do, they wanted to get most commonly used letters on home row. They wanted to get, pass these out, please. They wanted to get the most commonly used letters in the home row with the minimal amount of reaching. They wanted to use an inward stroke. If you stroke your fingers in like this, you'll find it much more comfortable than going out. And they wanted to set up a rhythm in the hands so that you wouldn't be typing like one word with one hand and another word with the other hand. They wanted to set up an alternating system. So what you have here, you're getting here, is the layout that they came up with. This is called the Dvorac keyboard layout. So what they found in studying this, doing studies with this, is that people that learn this system of the keyboard layout can type 50% faster, as an average about 50% faster than the people that are typing with the QWERTY keyboard. QWERTY is the first 5 letters up here on the left reach. They found that they could increase their accuracy because they're not jumping all over the place. They could increase their accuracy by about 50%. And the people that were having the sore wrists, these sore wrists were going away, and they reported minimal pain in their wrist or no pain in their wrist. So we've got 3 advantages here to the QWERTY keyboard: increased speed, increased accuracy, decreased pain. RMI, repetitive movement injuries. And what they found is that by using a typical person using a QWERTY keyboard will move their fingers 12 to 20 miles per day. I don't know how they figured that out, but they had a way of figuring it out. 12 to 20 miles per day typing on a QWERTY keyboard. Typing the same stuff on a Dvorac keyboard, they're moving their fingers about 1 mile per day. Big difference, and so you can see where that's going to really take away some of the pain in your wrist. So I was trying to figure out how they were doing this mileage bit, but what I came up with was I'm going to assign 1 inch for a reach up, 1 inch for a reach down, 1 inch for a reach in, and 2 inches for a diagonal reach, P, Y, and B. So I typed in Toastmasters. With Toastmasters, my fingers traveled 10 inches in QWERTY. Dvorac, 2 inches. So I thought, well, let's try something harder. So I went to the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy black dog. That sentence uses every letter in the alphabet. QWERTY typing that sentence, I came up with 35 inches. In Dvorac, 23 inches. Using every letter in the alphabet, I decreased that from 35 to 23. Much less movement, much easier. So hopefully I've got a few people here interested in how can I learn this. On the back of this paper, I'm giving you a layout with for using PCs, Windows, of how to change the keyboard mapping on your computer. Just go to the Start menu, find your control panel, click on that. You'll find an icon or an area in there called Regional Settings and Languages. Click on that. It'll give you a window with some tabs. There's a tab there that says Languages, Details, and then there's an add button. Click on that add and you're going to come up with a big list of different layouts for your keyboard. And you can find the US Dvorac keyboard on there. Add that on. While you're there, you might want to click on the taskbar, which will give you a icon of your keyboard on your taskbar. And then after that, click on that icon. It'll come up and say US or US Dvorac. And that's how you switch back and forth. So it's 2 mouse clicks to switch between the Dvorac and QWERTY. Then there's also, now we need to learn how to type. And using the same style of working the home keys, repetitiveness, there is a typing tutor called ABCD, a basic course in Dvorac. You know, we'll use the same type of pedagogy that we would use of repetitive typing, but what you'll find is in about the second lesson, you'll be typing words. Because you can see all your vowels are under one hand. And then there's all the common letters are over here under the right hand. So right away, you're typing words. It becomes much easier to learn how to type when you're typing words than when you're typing gibberish. So, those of you that think that increased speed, increased accuracy, and less wrist pain would be of much help to you, take a couple hours, sit down at the keyboard, try these. Switch the mapping over, take a look at your at that typing tutor, practice through a few lessons. I went through 7 lessons in about an hour the other day. And it's so much more comfortable. I'm gonna be trying this. I've been working with it a little bit. It really seems to work, and I'm getting less pain in my wrist.